Hey everybody, Yankee here. Today I want to take a minute here and address a picture a viewer sent me. They sent me a picture of one of their revolvers and said, "Hey Yank, is this revolver crooked? Does this barrel look crooked to you?" Because if you remember, Smith & Wesson had quite a problem with some crooked barrels there for a while. Seems like they weren't getting the compression fit barrels just right, so they were kind of twisted. They were off a little bit. Now the barrels themselves were straight, but the top of the gun wasn't aligning with the top of the barrel. You know, the top of the body and the top of the barrel were off, and it was aesthetically ugly. So people are, on the lookout for this. So they sent me this picture and they said, "Is this crooked?" Now, when you look at it, it does look pretty crooked. But you got to remember, there's shadow there. There's light coming from one side, so one side is shadowed. So I'm trying to darken in the entire area of the ribbed area here, and I got it pretty close to the exact rib area. And now once you have that established, like what is the actual ribbed area of the top of the barrel, you can just draw straight lines from the rear sight up to the end of the barrel, and you can see if your barrel is straight or not, because sometimes it's hard to tell. And as you can see on this one, it might be off a hair. It is off just a tiny little bit, but hardly any at all, if any, and definitely within an acceptable range. But it does look a little awkward, but mainly because you can see that there's a little more space on the right side here from looking down from above than there is on the left when it lines up with the body. And the way I would fix this is I wouldn't bother trying to mess with this barrel. I would just file off a little bit right there. Just take a little bit down on that side, not all the way down, but down to like where it's almost flush, to where you can't really tell the difference from right to left. And it'll look a lot straighter. In fact, it'd be a lot more aesthetically pleasing. This gun is very functional. It's going to be very accurate. It's going to have no problems whatsoever. It was just off of alignment a little bit. And when you're doing a compression fit barrel, which means they just tighten it down to where it's tight enough that that compression is keeping it in place, they don't need to pin it, well, sometimes it gets off a millimeter or so in one direction or another. That's acceptable. The way they were doing it before, it was like off sometimes 3 or 4 millimeters. It was bad. But this is not bad at all, if at all. And really the biggest difference you're seeing is where the barrel lines up with the body. So like I said, just shave the tiniest hair off that side and you'll have no problem whatsoever. And if you're not worried about the aesthetics of that little bit, I just say ignore it, because this gun will be perfectly functional. Like I said, it's just a problem with the way it looks. And if you fixed that, even though it is off like maybe a millimeter or half a millimeter, you really won't notice that ever again. And you're going to look good and it'll function good.